In this lesson, we're going to update the GUI for the player to see that they're counting coins. Alright, so we've learned how to create coins for the player to actually collide with them, and once they collide with them, it sets them to inactive, and so they're no longer able to be collected. But now what we want to do is we want to give the player some feedback through a UI that shows that they're actually counting these coins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring in a GUI text object. So let's go ahead and create a new one. Let's go to Create, and we're going to say GUI text. All right, perfect. Now once that GUI text is created, let's go ahead and just move it out of the way. You'll notice here that it's not showing up. There's no words or anything like that. For some reason, it's not showing that. Let's make sure that we have everything set up. Let's go ahead and set our alignment to center. We'll set our anchor point to upper left. I'm okay with that. Pixel offset, everything's good. Let's go ahead and change what this should say. And let's actually just take that and let's set it to 0, just for right now. And let's change the font size from 0 to something like 18. Okay. And again, I'm still not seeing anything on my script. Not sure why that's happening, but we'll make sure that that updates properly. Now you'll see that I have these other GUI text objects here, and it's using a text mesh there. Let's go ahead and leave that just the way it is. So let's leave it at 18. We have our color and everything. I'm going to trust that this is going to work. For some reason, I'm just not seeing that text, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this object. Let's go ahead and give it an icon so we can actually see that working here. And the GUI text, let's go ahead and call this coin text. And hit enter on that so that way we can see it. Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and create a script that's going to live on this object. And, oh, I know why it's not showing. It's because it won't show up because it's only going to show that in the game view whenever we play. Sometimes I lose my mind. Alright, so let's go ahead and create that new script. So we'll create C# script, and we're going to call this coin counter. Hit enter. Double click on that, and let's open it up inside of MonoDevelop. And let's get started. So before we get started here, I'm going to show you a really cool trick. Whenever dealing with GUI, sometimes it can be a little difficult to work with whenever we can't see what's going on because we have to keep switching to the game view and playing the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one little line of code right up here underneath our namespaces, and I'm going to open bracket, and I'm just going to type in the word execute in edit mode. And then we're going to end the bracket. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to execute this code whenever we're in the scene view and when we're editing this, so we can see it very easily. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and set up our brackets here, and let's go ahead and get started. So what we want to do is we want to update the coin counter, but let's go ahead and first create our variable that's going to keep track of the amount of coins that we've collected. So we're going to say public int coin count. And we're going to set that equal to 0 just to start out. I don't need the start function, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. But I will need my update function. So what this is going to do is it's going to display my GUI text, and it's going to show what it should say. So I'm going to say GUI text dot text, so whatever that field is. So looking at this really quickly, select your coin text, and you'll notice here that it's says text. What we're going to do is we're going to change what it says here. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and say text, and we're going to set this equal to, and I'm going to use a lowercase x because it always tells how many coins you have. It has like a little icon next to it, and then it has this x, and then it'll always have the number next to that. So I'm going to say plus. So I'm going to append whatever this number is. So we're going to put in the value or the variable coin count. Perfect. That's all we have to do for this. Let's hit Control S to save that. And let's go ahead and attach that to our GUI text object or our coin text object. So let's add component, let's use scripts, and we're going to say coin counter. Alright, so with that, we should see our coin text. I'm not really sure why it's not showing up there. Let's hit play really quickly. Should see that text somewhere. And I'm afraid something is going on that I'm not sure about. Now we know that this is working because it says X0. So it's that execute in edit mode is working. But I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Let's go ahead and set this to 0, 0. Ah, that's what it is. It must be at 0, 0. Let's go ahead and hit play. And we should see that somewhere here. Let's set it to 0.5 on that. There we go. So 0.5 and 0.5, it puts it directly center of our screen. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and actually update that using these offset values. So pixel offset, let's go ahead and update that. And so I'm going to go to the left here. Sometimes this GUI system can be a little confusing. So I'm just going to continue to push that up, and let's go to the left side of our screen. Now the thing about this GUI is that sometimes it's a little difficult to figure out exactly where this GUI is going to be because it is dependent on the screen size. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it up here in the top left corner. Okay. And we'll leave it right there. So whenever I hit play, you'll see that that says 0, and we'll notice that we're not colliding with it, or now we're colliding with the coins, but we're still not updating that number. So the GUI text is set. It's ready to go. It's ready to receive how many coins we're collecting. So in order for us to update that, we need to go back into our coin script, and we need to tell it that whenever we collide with it, that the coin count should go up. So the first thing that we need to do in this script is we need to talk to the coin counter script. And so to do this, we need to get that coin counter script. So let's go ahead and learn how to do that now. We're going to say private coin counter, and we're going to give it a variable name. Now notice that this is the type of variable. This should be the exact same name as the script that you want to talk to. So now we're going to say coin counter, and usually it's the exact same name, but notice that I'm using a lowercase c in this case, and that's the variable. So we're storing this script into a variable. Now we haven't actually stored it yet because we need to do that now. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use a different function besides start. I'm actually going to use awake. Awake is going to be similar to start, but awake is going to be the first function that gets called whenever the game begins, whether this script is enabled or not. The start function will be called after awake, and it is only called one time if that script is enabled. So let's go ahead and use awake, and inside of the awake function I'm going to set coin counter equal to the game object, and I'm going to find this game object. So I'm going to say game object dot find, and then what game object am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for the game object with the name coin text. So let's spell it exactly the way it appears inside of our engine, inside the editor. So let's close parentheses, and then we're going to say dot get component, because the script that I'm looking for is coin counter, but it's living on top of this game object. So I need to get its component, which is the script, and the component that I'm looking for is called coin counter. Okay, so you need to use the greater than and less than symbol here. Forgive me for not knowing exactly what that is, but you'll see this is the script name that we're looking for. Then we need to open close parentheses for it to do that, and then we'll end with a semicolon. So now we should get that script that's on the coin called coin counter. Then what we want to do is on trigger enter, if the game object collides with it, if our player collides with it, we need to update our GUI. And so what I'm going to do is just above the setting inactive, I want to update that coin counter. So we're going to say coin counter dot coin count. Notice that I can access the coin count variable that's inside of this script. I can access that because this variable is now public. Okay, so I can access it from another script. And I'm going to just simply say coin counter dot coin count plus plus. So I'm going to increment it by 1. So whatever coin count is plus 1. Perfect. So let's hit Control S to save that, and let's test it out in our game. So if I hit play, you'll see that the ball is going and it hits it, and notice that our coin count goes up. And it'll continue to go up as long as we're colliding with our coins. Whoops. And now I'm falling off of the track. So now what we're going to do in our next lesson is we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about how to finish out this game. We need to create the kill box, so whenever the player goes off the track and they hit that kill box, we want them to restart at a spawn point, and we want to reset the counter and everything. And then what we'll do is we'll also take care of what happens whenever they hit the finish line. So we'll start on with the kill box next.